all over my TikTok, there has been a trend called thought daughters. I've been seeing it all over my TikTok, and as a book reader and someone who wants to become a book reader, a better book reader, I thought I would participate in the trend a little bit. I've actually don't think I've read any quote thought daughter books my entire experience reading. I mean, I probably have, to be completely honest. I've read some classics, but that was like in high school and college, and I didn't read those for fun. I never took in anything. So we're gonna read some books. We're gonna read some thought daughter books for a week. I'm actually really excited. I bought some books. Oh my god, recently I spent way too much money on books. There's really no way me getting out of this anymore. I've spent so much money on books that I don't read. I've already read 2 books in August, and it's literally August 6th. So am I, like, the best reader on the planet? Like, perhaps I am. Though I've been seeing some people on the internet, they read, like, 16 books a month. I can't imagine. I thought we would read some books for a week or so and make it kind of vloggy. Kind of go with me. Read these books and I'll give you synopsises and confusion and all this stuff. But let me go through the books that I am going to be reading for this little bookathon. Bookathon? Readathon? It's literally not. I'm just like reading for a week or 2, depending on how slow I am. There's like 3 books on my roster, so... Alright, let me go get the books. So I picked out 3 books for this little trend. We got a thick boy and 2 like medium-sized boys. And honestly, I'm actually excited for 2 out of 3 of these. I picked the 3rd one up because I just felt like I needed to be a part of this because I feel like people think of thought daughters. Okay. Also, I feel like I didn't describe that at all. Thought, like thoughtful daughter, like girls who think. Personally, I'm not a girl who thinks that much. I like to read and consume and then move on. So this is reading thought daughter books for the not thought daughter, okay? And here they are. So the first book I picked up, it is Devotions by Mary Oliver. I've actually been wanting to pick up this book for years now. Actually, not even this book, just one of her works, because everyone eats up Mary Oliver's poems, and I don't read poetry at all. Poetry kind of goes over my head. But I saw this one, it was like $15, and it has like her collected works. I did not know that was what this was. I thought I was getting a book like this big. So there's a lot of there's a lot to read. It's like about how many pages? 400 pages of poems, which poems are short, like, you know, like as you can see. So it shouldn't be horrible. But this is one of the books I've picked up. The next book I picked up, and the one that I'm actually the most excited for, is Stoner by John Williams. I'm very pumped for this. I've been seeing it all over my TikTok, whether it's for thought daughter or not thought daughter. And I've been wanting to read more like real classics. So this one looks like, look, it has the literal cover of a classic. So we're going to be reading this. I think this follows a man in the 19th century in dirt poor Missouri. Dirt poor. And then his like whole life and stuff, and he has to think about all his choices and where his life has led him, and that his like I think his wife and kid leaves his life, and then he's alone. I don't really know what goes on in this. Also, look at the text. Ugh. I don't know if you can fully see this. It's like bolded. Gross. But I think a lot of these kind of books are bolded. But I'm really excited. I'm going to be starting reading this one first. And then the last book I picked out, which is the one I'm not excited for, but everyone and their mom has read it and like says it's either good or horrible. It's like, I feel like this is the definition of thought daughter in my opinion. And that is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Not excited at all for this book. I'm not going to lie. It just feels like this is a hard read. But it does seem really interesting. You follow Esther Greenwood on her path, and she goes insane. Kind of crazy kind of vibe. She has a breakdown with such intensity that Esther's insanity becomes completely real and even rational. Real, me-core. But this is the one I'm not as excited for, but I feel like should be read if you're going to participate in thought daughter books and you've never read a thought daughter book before. Even though people definitely don't call this thought daughter reading. I just made this up. I made this all up. Just kidding. I didn't. TikTok made it up, and so you can blame them. So my kind of plan for reading these is that I'm going to read a chapter of this book because, oh my god, let me tell you, each chapter in this is like 20 pages, and girly, me, Evan Dictionary, hates long chapters. So I read one chapter of this, and then I read at least 10 poems, then a chapter. 10 poems, a chapter. So I can work through these. I'm not a fast reader, and I know that these books aren't really meant to be binged, but I'm binging them, so. But that's what we're gonna do. So you're gonna follow me reading these books. I'm actually really excited. Major freaking slay. I will catch you when I first start reading this book. Tell me why I'm literally one paragraph in, and he's dead. Also, it was like depressing as hell. Let me read this to you. He did not rise above the rank of assistant professor, and few students remembered him with any sharpness after they had taken his courses. That's sad. Oh, there's a lily here. Depressing start. I love him. I love him already. I just finished chapter 1 of Stoner. Actually, it's like already so good. I really wasn't expecting that. I thought I'd be confused. There was a part that I was confused. And you know what? The main character was confused too, so I feel better. But it's when they mentioned Shakespeare and then they're like, what does this mean? I don't know what it means. What do you mean? Literally, I always had trouble in my English classes. They're like, oh, the sonnet. What is the deep meaning and the root of the science of the sonnet? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know. But he didn't know either, and then I felt his anxiety, so then I was having anxiety together, and it felt really comfortable to have anxieties together. But I really like it so far. We're on page 25, and we're gonna keep booking through it. We're gonna start reading wherever the other book went, the devotions book next though. But so far what's going on is you're following William Stoner. He went to high school, he went to college, but then it's like this whole first chapter is him going to college and discovering that he loves literature. He loves English and he's really connected to it, and he's disappointing his family by being a nerd. So that's pretty much all we've got. And he was having a little bit of an anxious moment, like when you get cold called in class. No one likes being cold called in class. He got cold called, and he said, that's me core. I am him. Also, at first I thought he was a blonde, because he said he had sandy hair, and I was like, oh my god, a blonde. But then I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then it said he had brown hair. And it kind of ruined me. You know, a lot of people hate blonde male characters. Personally, I love a blonde man. I need a blonde man in my life, and I thought this man was gonna be blonde, but he's a brunette, so it's fine. I'll see you once I start reading some poetry. Yeah. Good morning. It is currently 10:25 a.m. Just woke up. It's day 2 of trying to be a thought daughter. Let me update you. First of all, this has nothing to do with being a thought daughter. My cat, Lily, threw up all over my floor last night, like in 3 locations. Ucky, gross, not very fun. So that's the first thing that happened last night. I have to move this back. But we got farther into both of these books. I finished chapter 2 of The Stoner. We're still following him, and he just got his PhD, and he's made friends and such. It's actually really good. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting this to be a hard read, like the words to be really confusing, but they're not. I really like it. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think we're just following a dude. I don't know if there's gonna be like a really strong plot. He's just a dude. And then I've read the first section of poems from this book. They're good. I feel like Mary Oliver is a very, very beautiful writer. I don't know if I'm still into it though. Poetry is definitely not my strong suit. I don't even know how to write poetry, like good poetry. But it's very pretty, and I like it, and I like the way she thinks. So I like it. And also, look what I'm doing. Magic the Gathering card as a bookmark. It's a raccoon, and if you guys don't know this about me, raccoons are my favorite animal. That's kind of the vibe. We're on page 40 of this one, of Stoner, and page 17 of the poetry book. The vibes. Alright, I'll catch you next time. I have now officially read about half of Stoner. A lot has happened since my last recap. It's been honestly 3 or 4 days since my last update. Spoiler warning, if you guys want to read this book, I will be talking about things that happened in this book. So we follow Stoner, he went to college, had friends and all that stuff. He finally meets a woman, and I'm typically down with men, you know what I'm saying? Hashtag DWM. But right now I'm down with women because he meets this girl and he falls in love with her instantly. And he's like, wow, this is the most beautiful girl ever. I would do anything for this girl to make her love me and have a good day. And, and she gives him nothing back. But they still get married. And I feel honestly, what I've taken from this book is that I think you need to feel sad for both parties in this. I'm a William Stoner stan. I love that man. I love him. He's very cute and very nice and smart. And his wife, Edith, she's so insecure, and I'm sure she's got some other things going on, but it kind of ruins the vibe, okay? So her insecurities and her own issues have created a space for this man that is not, safe. Not meaning that she's just the worst, okay? She takes away all of his time, all his stuff, all his, his time with his daughter, because he eventually has a daughter with this girl. And then she leaves and basically he has a daughter, and I think she gets postpartum depression. They don't really describe it that way, but the way that she's acting is giving postpartum, which is really horribly sad because she thinks that will fix their relationship if they have a kid. But then she doesn't give her kid any time of the day, and that goes on for 6 years. And then their parents both these sets of parents die. And so she goes and leaves for 2 months, so he has to take care of his 6-year-old daughter by himself, and he loves it, and they're very cute, and they read books together, and it's really cute. I'm not gonna lie. He made a desk for her in his room. So cute. But then his wife comes back, and she's like, I'm a new person, blah, 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 blah. And then she dogs on him and on their daughter, she has too much freedom, and so she makes her wear dresses. She was not wearing dresses before. She was being herself. And she can't read anymore. And she has to hang out with the neighborhood kids. Honestly, my worst nightmare if my family made me hang out with the neighborhood kids that I didn't know. But then she has friends over, and she doesn't. Oh, and literally the worst part of this was that she took the desk that Stoner made his daughter and put it outside or somewhere and turned it pink. Made it a pink desk. So now she doesn't even want to play with it. And then he's like, hey, Edith, I don't like what's happening right now. And she's like, oh, what do you mean? And he's like, our daughter isn't super, super happy and fun and whatever she was before you came back. I twitch. And she's like, she's the happiest she's ever been. Blah, 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 blah. What are you gonna do about it? And he's like, I don't know. She's like, yeah, you can't leave me, huh? And he's like, I guess not. Ugh, leave her. And then when he goes to work, she takes his entire study. Oh, also fun fact, I forgot to say this. They bought a house that they couldn't afford because she made him. Okay, this woman's the worst. Anyway, she goes and takes all his study stuff out of his house, or out of his study, and puts it in the sunroom. So basically, his stuff gets sun damage, rain damage, his kids mess up his stuff, he doesn't have enough room, so he practically moves into the university. So basically, at the end of this chapter, we're halfway through, he pretty much gives up on his dreams and his relationship with his daughter because there's no way he can interact with his daughter because his wife is just so far up there. But then, his daughter gets a little bit happier, and, literally the last line says, Edith relaxed her pursuit on obsessive concern for Grace, that's his daughter's name, so that the child was beginning occasionally to smile and even to speak with him with some ease. Thus he found it possible to live and even to be happy, now and then. I feel so bad. I'd marry this man. All he does is read books and be studious and love his daughter. And he loves his wife. So what I've gotten so far from this book is that this man is miserable. This is a miserable, sad man marrying a miserable, sad woman with a miserable, sad kid because the kid can't do her homework anymore in the room. But I really like it. I really like it so far. It's really well written. It's kind of a vibe. I really enjoy I don't know what possibly could happen in the second half of this book, but I'm scared because I just want this man to be happy. The update for the Mary Oliver book, I'm this far. I'm not very far into this. I've read around like page 55 or something. I will say, I don't know if poetry is for me, but I do enjoy reading this. I think her writing and like prose is super pretty, but nothing's sticking with me. Like if you ask, I only remembered one, Devon's Gulch. I liked that one a lot, but they're not really sticking with me, but I think she's very talented. So if you like poetry, you should definitely read this. I will keep reading this. I'm going to keep trudging through it as I read the other book, and then we're going to start Bell Jar pretty soon. All right, I will see you guys in the next little update. I'll probably have a little bit of collage going on. Collab? I don't remember what it's called when like multiple things go together. Like a time lapse. I don't know. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye. It's officially happened. I've officially finished Stoner. Woof. This is a devastating book. It's very devastating. It's depressing. It's sad. It's unfortunate. However, there's a lot of good moments in this book as well. You follow this man throughout his whole entire life and the ups and downs of it. And it is a painfully like normal, boring life. Boring. Think of your favorite teacher. It's their life, but a little bit more like a soap opera. Because this man goes through everything that could possibly happen as a English literature teacher. And he perseveres. I enjoyed this book a lot. I had a really, really good time with it. I think this is a very good book to read if you want to get started with like a more classic type book. I don't know if this is technically a classic. It felt like a classic. But if you want to read a classic, this reads really easy. You get to really love the character that is William Stoner. He's just a dude. He's just a dude trying to live his best life, and he has so many roadblocks. And you want him to be happy. You want him to be happy, and you root for him, and you like him. And he's great. Honestly, I love this man. This man has done no wrong in my eyes, and it's really good. And the biggest takeaway I feel like for this book is that his love for his work, for his family, for everything he puts everything into everything. His whole butt is in this whole, everything he does is with purpose and with love and passion, and just, he's a good guy. He's a good man. He's a good guy. I give this a 5 stars on Goodreads. I will say there were a couple parts where I was like, I don't know what's going on. When the writing got a little more, like, educated. But, like, when it was talking about Shakespeare and different types of writing and that kind of thing. But honestly, I kind of skipped over those parts. And it wasn't that often. It was, like, every 3 or 4 chapters that they talked about stuff like that. And I skipped over it because it was mostly just for, like, building the scene. And then the after parts, the stuff that happens afterwards, that's what's really important. I've also never really disliked some characters as much as I disliked some of the characters in this book. I just want to, like, beat them up. I want to find them, and I want to shove my fist right into their face. At least 2 people in this book. At least 2. I will say, his wife, I was talking about this earlier with my random segment. I feel so bad for her. Like, I know she's she's not crazy. Well, she has got a lot of things wrong with her, and you feel bad for her, even though she's a horrible, horrible wife. She was not made to be a wife to William Stoner, and he was not meant to be the husband of Edith, last name. Clearly no. It's good, it's sad, it's depressing, and it's a good takeaway. Put all your love and passion into it, because I feel like Stoner actually lived a really good life, even though he had so many freaking Robux. Oh my god. He's the dude. I liked him very much. Big recommend. All right, so I'm going to be out of town this weekend, but I am bringing the bell jar with me. Here it is. Here is the bell jar. I am going to be binge reading this mostly in a car. So there won't be as much content of me like reading an aesthetic, but I am bringing my microphone and I am bringing my iPad to record like any segments that I feel like need to be recorded. So be aware that the quality is probably going to go down a bit, but I'm not... I'm a little terrified of this book. I know a lot of people have DNF'd this book. I know people rave about this book. I know that this is the book, especially if you like psychology. But I think it's going to be really entertaining in a horrible way. I think I'm going to be entertained and depressed. So here we are. Apparently that's what thought daughter is, because apparently being a thought daughter means you're sad all the time. But I'm excited. I think I'll probably be able to finish it this weekend. Yeah, here we go. Hello. Welcome to a different house. It is nearing probably 1 a.m. at this point. I just got back from a concert, which was super sick. If you guys know the band 21 Pilots, I went to go see them. This is my 4th time seeing this band. Hella awesome. Interesting though, I didn't know their newest albums as well, but I knew their old ones. And then there's some people that didn't know the old albums, which I thought was really interesting and weird, because I was like, fake fans. I don't know. But on the way to the place where the concert was, I had some time to read. And I read about halfway through The Bell Jar. Let's get into it. Also, I purchased, because I love buying things. I like buying souvenirs. Okay, I like buying souvenirs at a concert. It's fun. But I got this tote bag. This is a tote bag. Has Tyler Joseph and Josh Dunn on it, and it says 21 Pilots Clancy Tour. Pretty sick. Boom, The Bell Jar. Here it is. I'm about halfway through this book. I don't think I like this book. I don't think I like it. Though, I will say, unfortunately, this book is a little bit relatable. And, should I be concerned? What I've gotten from this book is that it's not, so far at least, hasn't really been insanity that I've noticed. It's just been a lot of, depression and not knowing what to do. Feeling a little helpless. And I'm like, been there. Some of the things that, especially in the last couple chapters, some of the things she said, I'm like, ooh, been there. Ooh, so true, girlfriend. I've been there. Some of it though, she's just, the character is not likable. I don't like her. I feel bad for her because having some of the things I have gone through. Also, it's also like a step just to a mental breakdown. Again, not insanity. It's more so all these things have layered up in this woman's life, and she's just gonna start crying hysterically and freak out, and that's what I've gotten. And so I feel like the word of insanity right now is just not the right word for this. But I could be wrong. There is 150 pages left of this book that I haven't read, so who knows. But she's very unlikable. At the beginning. I literally texted my friend about this. I was like, her friend asked her, the main character, hey, don't leave with me alone with this man, thank you. She leaves her alone with the man. Then this said friend comes back later drunk as hell, and she's like incoherent and needs to go inside the main character's room, to be safe. And the main character leaves her out in the hallway, absolutely plastered, blackout drunk. Who does that? Who? Also, class writing, a little confusing. Just a little bit. Is she there's a main timeline going on in this book, and you follow that for the most part. But the main character, Esther, she goes into her brain a lot and thinks about past environments and past stories and things that have happened to her. But the way that it's written is a little confusing, because at one point we're in the main timeline, and then the next we're 20 years prior, or we're it's not that many years prior. That was melodramatic right there. But it's a totally different thing, and I have no idea what's going on. And then I have to catch up, what was the sentence that switched it. And then you go back to it randomly. That's what I've been having issues with. Also, all classic books, why are the chapters 485 million pages? Anyway, I'm going to try and finish this tomorrow. I might read one chapter before I go to bed. I don't know if I'm going to get any reading content. That's the dealio for now. All right, I'll catch you then. Good night, good night, good night. Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. Hello, welcome to perhaps the last segment of this video. Whoa! Let's start with what we just finished. I just finished The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I did not enjoy this book. I didn't like it. I don't think it was a bad book necessarily, and I think I would get a lot of hate if I said this was a bad book, because it's really not a bad book. It's just, I didn't really like it. I gave it a 3 stars on Goodreads or whatever, and realistically, it's probably even lower than that for me because I just didn't like it. But I have a hard time separating my likingness to this to the actual, like, is this a good book? I think the writing was good, except I did get a little confused because sometimes Esther went into her brain and was, like, doing, like, major throwbacks randomly in the middle of a sentence, and that confused me, and I think that was just Plath's writing rather than the character itself. So I don't know. This book is about just a really sad, really depressed girl in her 20s who doesn't really know what to do with her life. It all stems from not exactly knowing what to do, and then just a mental breakdown of things going and happening, and eventually getting into an asylum and her experiences in that. And one of the things I disliked about this book is the lack of other characters. I mean, there were so many other characters, but the development of the other characters, I just wasn't attached to any other character. I was definitely not attached to Esther at all. Did not like her. And it has nothing to do with her mental health and stuff. She was just kind of mean and not a good friend, and I don't know. This might be an unpopular opinion. This might be an unpopular thing. I was hooked, though. Like, I read this in 2 days, and I usually don't read books faster than a week. So I did read this in 2 days because I wanted to know, I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to see the break. I feel like the first 100 pages, she was just kind of chilling. I mean, she had moments where she was less sound of mind, but and then like in the middle part, I was like, yeah, which made me uncomfortable. Some of this part of this book made me uncomfortable to read, and I was like, ugh. But that was the point. That was the point of the book. That's why I feel like I got 3 stars, because it was a good book. It was a good book. Did I like it? No. Was it, like, magnificent in writing and beautiful and gorgeous? No. So that's why it gets docked off 2 points, because I feel like I could have liked it better. I will say, the one comparison with, like, fig trees and figs and stuff, that was really good. I really liked that writing in this. I don't know where it is. I'll try to take a picture and post it on here, but I don't know. I feel like I need to sit with this. You know what? Thought daughters are so thoughtful. Like, when I finish this book, and every time I finish a chapter, I, like, sit and be like, whew, and, like, think about it. I would have to think about, like, what happened in this and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely a thought. If you like thinking, this book is definitely for you, because you really gotta think about the things that happened to this and, like, how the events of the story unfold, you know? And then you kind of think about yourself, especially if you've had any of these instances in your life, you know? So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. Would I read it again? Probably, but not for a while. I'd probably read this again later to be like, oh, did I actually not like this book, or was I being annoying and like trying to be unique? I'm not trying. I want to like this book. I just feel like there's probably better books for mental health as well. Again, nothing against Esther, or I guess Sylvia Plath, because I think this is sort of based on her. I don't know. I might have made that up because the struggle's real. As for my poetry book, I got this far through. All right, I'm on page 144. So I did not finish this book. I'm not DNFing it, if you guys think that's why I'm ending the series. I'm not doing that. I just think binge reading poetry is not for me. I like read a lot of poems in one sitting, and then I'm like, okay. I did start like dog-earing like some of the poems I liked in this book, and some of them I really liked. I mean, the takeaway is Mary Oliver loves life. She loves life. She likes thinking about nature and life and death and nature and life and death. And you know what? I love that. I love that for her, and I liked it. I think she has really, really beautiful writing. I just think reading it all in one sitting was not for me. I probably shouldn't have done that. So I'm gonna keep reading this between other books I read, between chapters, because I do want to read the whole thing because I really liked it. Some of the poetry wasn't necessarily directed for me, probably, but I really liked the way she wrote. So I do recommend, if you guys want to start with poetry, this poetry isn't even that hard to understand. There are some that I went over, because I just skimmed it because I was like, I don't really know what the intent is right now, but you know. And then some of it's really good. I don't know. I liked it. I like it. I'm still reading it. It's probably gonna be a 5 stars because it's very you feel good. It's a feel good poetry book that talks about life and all that stuff, and it's real and very pretty. Very pretty. If you like pretty writing about nature, this book's for you. Anyway, is being a thought daughter for me? That's pretty much the question. Is being a thought daughter? Honestly, I liked all these books. Well, okay, I literally just went on a tangent how I didn't like it. But it wasn't a bad book. I liked the idea of this book. I wish the character was more likable. I think that's my biggest problem here, and then I was a little bit confused sometimes. But this book, 8. This book slapped. I loved this book. And I like thinking about this man. And this book was just so good. I really recommend this book. And these are thought-provoking as well. So as being a thought daughter for me, I would say yes, but probably not all the time. You know, these books were kind of, especially these two, these books were pretty heavy in their content. Kind of depressing, kind of miserable for both accounts. And I feel like if you only read these kinds of books, like thought daughter books, you could lose it a little bit. You could lose it, but I think they're very well written. I think they're really good stories. I think they also invite new people to understand that life is just lifing. Wow, that was the most intelligent thing I've said today. It's just a slice of life that is thought-provoking. Everyone's life is so different and complex and has so many things going on, and you just don't know. But I don't know. That was kind of rambling. That didn't make any sense. But I liked it. I'll probably read more. I'll probably look at more thought daughter recs. Maybe I'll do another video. If anything comes out of this, I recommend Stoner by John Williams. Good book. Really, honestly, it's probably in my top 5 of books I've read this year. To be fair, I've only read 16 books this year, but it was really good. I really liked it. This is the takeaway. Read this book if you want to know about a man and his little sad life. That's about it from me today. I will talk to you guys next week. I don't know what I'll post, but it's either going to be a gaming video or another little lifestyle kind of video. It won't be about books next week. So if you guys are not into the books, but you're still watching because you like the vibe, it'll probably be something either sillier or just vloggier. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I will talk to you guys later. Bye!